just starting out in AI would absolutely be at least do chat OpenAI's $20 plan. And if you ever find yourself doing some repetitive work, custom GPTs in there is far and away the most direct AI automation.
There are some real unlocks if you haven't done things like this before that are just huge productivity gains, process automation gains right out of the gate.
It's really not about being the guy that can program it, especially in this AI era. It's really about, can you really detect what people are thinking, get the communication out there, and lead that all the way to product market fit.
Welcome to another episode of AI Product Leader, where every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with real AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the AI world is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or building an AI career. I'm your host, Polly Allen. I'm the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product managers and leaders navigate the world of AI and transition into AI leadership roles. And I've spent my career at both the product management and software development worlds. I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager, where I successfully launched the first generative AI answers on Alexa. And I'm super excited to welcome our guest today. Joe Sessions is the COO and co-founder of Optimize, where he helps companies automate routine tasks and lay the groundwork for scalable AI adoption. With a career that spans hands-on software development, product leadership, and operational strategy, Joe blends technical acumen with the 30,000 strategic view. He's known for rolling up his sleeves where needed and just as often inviting his teams to step back and consider the bigger picture. A lifelong innovator and educator, Joe brings a passion for empowering people and leveraging cutting-edge tools to meaningful growth for businesses and individuals alike. Thanks so much for joining us today, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful. So let's jump into it. I mentioned you were like an educator in your past, a software
yeah,
developer. We'd love to get to know you a little bit better. Can you tell us
sure.
a little bit more about your professional past, at least?
Well, thank you for that warm introduction. It's better than most of the elevator pitches I've ever given about myself, so thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've just I've always been interested in how to educate or make things go better, and whether that's learning how to snowboard, or
Nice.
or a computer application that like the UX can be better.
Hmm.
Those those have been natural things for me. It's kind of like and as in my career lately, I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on being the glue that like brings people together, and sees something brings people together, but then um, I try to not be the source of all ideas. Um,
Mm.
and
It's
so
hard sometimes.
it,
I mean,
it
you're like our egos sometimes want us to
oh
be.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, and definitely have struggled. There's times where you just want to say all the things, and okay, yeah. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell.
But yeah,
I
tell
could,
us a little bit more. What you
yeah,
you were a math teacher in your past. How did you get
yeah.
from like math teaching into software development?
Well, math teaching was kind of an interesting path that the world laid out for me. I had really three of the best public school math teachers I could ever hope to have in a row in the pre-algebra algebra era of my time, and the overhead projectors back in the day, right? And they would write out a line of algebra and then write the property and then the next line. And they say, okay, I'm going to do apply distributive property and do the next line. And, in this tumbling down world of ever increasing math complexity, like Common Core and all this crap, like kids are having to learn the same thing five different ways. And algebra is just, honestly, after I rewrote all that curriculum, I was tutoring and I decided to write an even more simple version. I wrote Algebra 1 in 5 pages.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, and I had one of my students read it, and he went from being a C. I mean, I read it carefully with him. We spent about an hour and a half on it. He went from being a C student to an A student. And so that kind of like ability to condense things down or just shed complexity and go for the simplicity. I've never really been like the stunt do huge calculations in my head. I'm really not that guy,
Yeah.
but I can slowly take a big mass of
Yeah.
stuff, and that's been sort of my thing.
Yeah.
So moving it just the education career, I had sort of done that long enough. I there was sort of a breadwinning aspect of needing to go be the dad, and things needed to change. And so yeah, so I got a job. I mean, I did software training. I had been part of a software startup before in the mid 2000s. I had played with a computer a ton as a kid, and then more recently I did a code school and I moved forward in this career, and I kept thinking like, God, I went to Georgia Tech. Why did I do mechanical engineering? Like like, oh, I wish, like there's so much I could be amazing at this, but
Yeah.
it's kind of been a late phase career. But
Mm.
then at the same time, it's really built on more of the other skills I have, which I'm sure you can relate to as a PM. It's like um, it's really not about being the guy that can program it, especially in this AI era. It's
Absolutely.
really about, can you really detect what people are thinking, get the communication out there, and lead that all the way to product market fit in the best way.
Yeah. And the problem solving along the way.
Yeah,
And the simplest way.
yeah,
As soon as you were talking about that with the math, I was like, oh my gosh, you've
yeah,
been heavily involved in your current at Optimize, but even before that, involved in process automation.
yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you evolved into being a specialist in process automation and making that, your primary area of focus?
Well, actually, your class definitely helped along that path. I I really had a big UX input on that early startup. And then in my more recent work, I've had times where I have just employed the Microsoft tools
Yeah.
to and the beauty of it is, like, often what you want to do isn't that big of a thing. It just has to marry these different systems and just like kind of take this data and do that. Like, it's not like we need a front end. It's not like we need email, whatever. We need a login. Like, we just
Right.
need, when this email comes in, this thing happens. And so kind of part of my our common 80s growing up, my MacGyver past was
Yeah.
always like, well, what can you just like do and get that thing done?
Can you just get it like stick some gum in there to get it
Right,
running?
right. You've got the old Jeep with the cracked radiator, and you crack some chicken eggs in it, and I guess they seal it up well enough, and you go beat the bad guys. But anyway, so I had just done a fair number of these little automations, and I just saw the beauty of no setting up a database, no setting up a code repository, no server maintenance, no updating of libraries as the patches come in, like none of that. And so for me, that's just I like was naturally had done some of those things. And then in your course, I got this great AI project that like needed to basically do some image um, detection and math on it,
Yeah.
basically, and give a particular output. And it was cool, but like definitely the you can set up all the rest of the chain in a very like known fashion. It's very
Mhm.
deterministic. Like, I'm going to do steps A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Y. You know, it's going to take all these steps.
Yeah.
And if one of those steps is AI dependent, that's going to be a big question mark on what's the outcome. Like, is this going whole
Yep.
thing going to be a success? All the other ones, that'll work. And so certainly these tools will AI models and such are going to keep coming along, and ways of employing them will keep evolving. Um, and so what I just sort of saw in I mean, also in the media and the news and everything, is like, okay, I mean, just 9 months ago, it was everybody should be doing 3 AI experiments a month, and every business should be doing this, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but really, that kind of faded.
Well, and also, I think it faded when they had those the news articles that came out and said 95% of them fail, and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, but they were experiments.
right,
Wasn't
right.
that the point?
Right, right. And so that sort of raises the question, is your company a vanguard tech company, or, do you do something else, and
Right.
and you really need to be good at what you do, and so you just want to mess with tools that help you with what you do. And I've sort of I've also sort of had a small town, like medium size kind of business kind of guy. I did have a stint with Microsoft, Responsible AI. That was
Amazing.
ended about 2 years ago. So I got
Hmm.
to be around those guys
What was
and
your
work
role
with them.
there?
I was just kind of a support developer. I was building front end applications that would run that they could run and see their models in and things like that. But got to know a lot of the people, and in our little one-on-one where I'm finding out what they want, we get to talk about these things and stuff like that. But um, anyway, the giant enterprise company where yeah, I don't know. I've been more of a like smaller pond kind of a guy than that, I guess you could say.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so you enjoy working with the smaller companies and helping them out, who are not going to be like, let's develop our own LLM, obviously, right?
Yeah,
They're going to
right.
be
Yeah,
playing a
right.
different game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And I think that's where there's so much need right now, especially for that simplifying that view of like, how can I make this process as simple as possible and
Right.
not as complex and fancy as possible?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah,
Totally. And I
fantastic.
mean, all of this leads, these tools that lead toward greater efficiency on the human end of the thing.
Yeah,
But a lot of medium companies do really important functions that help, make life better in whatever zone they do. And but the efficiency equation kind of keeps marching forward. So I just want to help companies stay on that wave, and
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
So we looked into one of those problems as part of the course, which was super
yeah.
exciting.
Cool.
And I'd love to dive into it a little bit for our listeners because I found it super interesting. You
Oh,
were looking at doing some document extraction
yeah.
where you're trying to detect specific things in images. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the project?
Yeah, sure. So it was a kind of the use case was like, let's say you were given a 20-page document on how to build a new, it was a design for a new elementary school, and then, or whatever building, government
Yeah.
project or something, and it has, in this case, has a fence as part of the design. And then you're a fencing company, and you can pull up these projects all over the internet on various government sites. Like, okay, we need bids on this, we need bids on this, we need bids on this. So for an estimator, it's like, okay, well, all I'm really trying to figure out is what kind of fence is it? Is it 6 feet high or 8 feet high? Is it wood or is it chain link? And then how many feet of it? How many gates? How many poles? So in the industry, they call this the takeoffs.
Hmm.
So getting that takeoff, if you have that kind of list of what the fence involves,
Requires.
then you can make a estimate, make a bid, and move on. So the idea was with AI to be able to scan the entire document at first to find the page,
Hmm.
because I kind of knew that giving a 20-page PDF to Gemini wasn't gonna like just go, oh, it's 14 feet of fence, oh, like whatever.
Right. It's not just one prompt or one
Yeah,
step. Yeah.
one shot deal. So yeah, so we basically made a workflow. That first tool you recommended, the Andrew Ng VA landing.
VA
So
landing, yeah, the PDF extraction and
yeah,
visual kind of yeah, exactly. Extracting information from PDFs. It's more than just the text, right?
yeah, everything. Yeah, it did. We did hit some limitations on it, but actually this morning I got an email from that group, and they have their next version of it. So
Yeah.
maybe my project, maybe it'll go even smoother and better now. But it does a good job of reading all the pages and figuring out which pages have the fence data. And so
Mm,
you just ignore the other ones.
yeah.
And then I go along and extract page by page, turn those into single page PDFs, and then turn those into single JPEGs. And then those are what Gemini wants to digest. And so it looks at those, and then it basically says, okay, I think this is the line of the fence right here, and then it's these straight line segments. And so that's the real hardcore AI part of it. It's
Yeah.
looking at a JPEG and it's saying, I have coordinates for fences at these places. And then my deepest experience with Lovable yet, we made the front end with just prompting, and
Yeah.
we've got an app, and it talks to our N8N backend. And between those two things, we have this system, and it's got some file storage, and it keeps in a database, and so we've almost got a completely working app. Working through our we debugged, we found the bug, and then we haven't basically reprogrammed to get it perfect yet. But
Oh, that's
that's
amazing.
it. Yeah, yeah.
What I really loved about the implementation, well, one, you didn't necessarily move to implementing the whole thing in Lovable right away,
Right.
right? Because having that N8N workflow was it easier to work in N8N and really understand what it was doing step by step, as
Oh
opposed
yeah.
to trying to follow what Lovable is doing in code, right?
I I mean, I think that's one of those cases that, kind of the wisdom sort of starts to pop up for any of us who mess with it. It's like you if you were committing yourself to a path like that, like I'm just going to prompt lovable till it works, like that thing's has a lot of chance to just go like, okay, now we're bugged and we don't know how to unbug. In fact,
Right.
the company that gave me the project, they had a really sharp guy with no development experience who just, man, he just went after it for like 3 solid weeks. And I was amazed at what he showed me, being a 20-year-old guy with no software development history. Really something amazing. But he basically said, God, I'm like 90% of the way there, but I don't think I can actually complete this.
Right.
And I think we had a lot of good talks about this in the class of, you talked about the one modeling thing where it's like it draws it in like crayon looking lines. So when you show it to other stakeholders, they're not thinking, oh, can we release this in 2 weeks? It's like, we're not even started. This is just a
Right.
POC. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy to show a high fidelity prototype right now. And then people are great, ship it. Like, whoa.
I saw it work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the
So,
lovable piece that I loved about it too was that you still have that ability for humans to correct where like it would say, here's where I think the fences are. And people
right.
go and be like, nice try, AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Correct
no,
me.
that was great. I mean, and it was a little, basically, when I talked to this company, I was like, I need a thing for my capstone project.
Yeah.
And I would like to have a real world problem, and this is about the right scope. But I was saying to them, okay, you've talked to other people about doing this. I'm going to be honest. I don't think anybody can honestly tell you they know they can make it work unless they've done almost the exact same thing,
Yeah.
which is a pretty specific use case. So that's an interesting place to be when bidding a job, etc. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it must be interesting in the work you do,
yeah,
not being able to, it's not like, hey, this is a 5 hour thing and I'll just bid five
yeah,
hours on this, right? It's a lot of
yeah,
exploration just to see what's possible.
totally, totally.
Amazing. Well,
So to speak to that point, that was kind of the deal with the lovable design was let's from the very beginning design it so that if the AI is off, the human can just say, okay, let's drag those segments here
right.
because that's where the fence actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it. Building in that uncertainty from the beginning into the applications is definitely a way that helps you get a lot faster, a lot farther, a lot faster.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, it's really incredible to see. Like you had not worked with AI, you had not done development in a little bit, I think, too, right? When you were starting
Oh,
Optimizely, you're mostly working in what kind of tools are you mostly working in?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess I'd gone about 2 years from from doing much development. Every once in a while, I was getting in there and myself like, oh, okay, I'll just handle that little project. I had done a couple of automation type things, both Azure based and Azure Data Factory type,
Yeah,
moving stuff around for a Power BI board and things like that. But um, yeah, no, I really had found my place there, and then seeing how AI was changing software development, I'm like, okay, good, that'll be for other guys doing that. And so, yeah, a lot of my main tools had become just Azure DevOps. Like I'm writing stories, right, and stuff like
yeah,
that. And yeah, but it got to be even where we were trying to run things by the owner in one of my other projects. It was like, well, let's just build it in Lovable. One time we actually just had it build a UI.
yeah.
I wasn't really actually that turned out um, not such a win. We ended up going with 99 designs and having a human do it, and it's much better. Um,
It's good to know those stories too, right? That it isn't
yeah,
always the best solution.
yeah, exactly. I just really think it's going to be it's going to be evolved little steps forward of
Yeah.
application of AI.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like you've become very wise in terms of knowing where it is going to work and to
Yeah.
where to push forward with at least an experiment versus, hey, these are the things that are probably no-goes.
Yeah.
How did you get there? What was your transformation when you were first looking to get started with, especially generative AI in your work?
I do see that part of my path forward is going to be just talking to people about AI and hoping to be a bit of a stabilizing influence
Yeah,
in both businesses and community and things like that. I'm putting together a book on AI and ethics and
incredible.
my concepts around that. But yeah, I feel like this is just what the right place for me. I don't really have a turning point moment. When I saw when I sort of got into your world and saw some of your podcasts and things like this. Um, I I really was like, this person has the kind of energy and the common sense that I want to feel like I'm connected to what is pretty the state of the art at the moment as it continues to change every 3 months or 2 months. Like that was just kind of how I ended up sort of signing up eventually, and and I really think it's such an area of no absolutes. Nobody is fully tracking with everything that's happened. No one's
Absolutely.
fully
It's
up to date
possible.
on everything, but definitely this helped me feel a lot more like, okay, like I'm really not good at saying when uh if I don't know something or if I have uncertainty, I'm prone to say that, like, well, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. So I needed to cut that window down and be like, okay, I can tell you this is about the best that people do with this right now. And so being
That's
part of your
yeah.
class was that was part of the goal.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. So if you had to boil your advice down to someone who's just starting out in AI, where
Yeah.
to get started, what would your one sentence advice be for them?
Um, just starting out in AI would absolutely be at least do OpenAI's $20 plan.
Hmm.
And if you ever find yourself doing some repetitive work that involves like reading a bunch of stuff and coming up with some summary, custom GPTs in there is far and away the most direct AI automation.
Yeah.
Um, that I just recently was doing a project to basically create a bunch of tooltips, and I condensed 5 weeks worth of work, which I never would have done, to 3 days worth of work.
Right. With a
And
custom GPT.
yeah,
So
exactly.
simple. So
Yeah,
simple.
yeah,
Yeah, incredible. That's great tips. And it's something we get into in week one of the blueprint
yeah,
specifically for that reason,
for sure,
that it's
for
like
sure.
there are some real unlocks if you haven't done things like this before that are just huge productivity gains, process automation gains right out of the gate. Absolutely.
Totally.
Well, thanks so much. Fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we have time for one last section, and that is plugs. I'm sure you might have some things you want to plug, but if people
Yeah.
are number one, want to get in touch with you, or what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Well, optimize my
Hmm.
so this is
I
OPTIMAIZ.
see. Okay.
You'll
Optimize.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll see when you get to the website if you can spell that. And
We'll,
um,
we'll we'll link in the show notes too. Don't worry.
oh, super, thank you. Um, yeah, that's the easiest way. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, Joe Sessions, COO of Optimize. Um, and yeah, basically, if you have like a medium or small business and you can see, basically a good way to look for it is sucky work. Was kind of one of our clever ways to say it. Like you're really going to be everybody's hero by optimizing away that thing that someone spends an hour and a half at the end of their week doing,
Yeah.
that just basically gobbles in things and makes a report or puts it in a QuickBooks or something. So yeah, just reach out. That would be something I'd love to work with and keep everybody grounded and moving toward directly to ROI. Often in 4 months we've paid for that employee time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Easily. Fantastic. Yeah, so great to see this happening really in the real world. Like there's a lot of people who come in and will try to wave AI all over everything. And you're like, how about we start with process automation and see where AI fits in? That grounded
Totally,
approach.
totally.
Amazing. Awesome. And then do you have any info on your book? When is that coming out? Where can people get
Um,
more?
no release date yet. It's hard to fit in those moments, but yeah, it's coming soon. But basically, I guess look forward to it being a very pragmatic, like, what does this really look like? What does it really need to look like? Because I think some of those fears, if not addressed, they're real fears. Like there's real possible
Absolutely.
bad places we can go. Dwelling on them doesn't solve it, but
Right.
seeing them for what they are, I think, does.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
Fantastic. And especially if you've had experience at Microsoft and, with the
yeah,
responsible AI team there, I think you'll have a lot of insight and wisdom to bring. I always like to point out to people if everyone who has valid concerns about the moral, ethical, security, content, AI is taking over the world, or even the climate considerations, if all of those people lean out, who does that leave in the room to
yeah,
actually make
yeah,
decisions about how this tech is made and
yeah.
used, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, keep your eyes peeled for Joe Sessions and his book coming out soon. From my side, I always like to plug our upcoming masterclass. We have the Path to AI Product Leadership. We do this usually about once a month, where I'm bringing the latest insights about what's really happening in the AI industry, specifically for product leaders, how that's relevant to you and the skills you need to build. So be sure to sign up, and we'll see you again soon at one of those. Fantastic. Well, that's another episode of AI Product Leader. Thanks so much for joining. And Joe, thanks so much for coming on today. Really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This has been great.